Yeah. Heavy duty stuff. Inbound. Yeah. Inbound. Symptoms, probably a lot of the same symptoms that other folks are reporting. Um, like, for example, getting some pain in my upper, jaw here with my teeth, in particular in this front section here. And then what I'm able to do, because I'm a monopole, is to, because I'm connected to Mama's magnetosphere, we call balance the charge, balance the pressure, an echo pressure washer chamber, thermal gradients, electrons, protons, neutrons, right? Keep them balanced, right? And so this one went away after I did that. And then I began experiencing some on this side, right? And so, you want the energies, the electrons, the protons, the neutrons to be balanced, between the two magnetic poles, right? What's coming through the gate, right? Inbound. And then communicating, to the intelligent energy that you're running, balance everything out. Everything's going to be just okay, right? I had some breathing problems yesterday with coughing, the film, the junk out, heavy metals, if you will, stuff that doesn't belong there, so I breathed a deeper aloha, right? So one of the things that I do, I go out on the rock out here and plant my feet, Mama's battery, right? Both my hands and my feet. What I usually do is I sit on my butt with my feet planted in front of me, and then have both my hands behind me. Okay, it's sort of like a quad, two in front, two in back, right? And then and as a monopole, I'm like a sponge, right? Which is why we experience everything, because we start from the center point from which it all began, right? And then that allows us to transmute. And the next thing you know is afterwards, I'm breathing, getting my, what we call your breatharian back. Yeah, which is capacity. That's your capacitor to experience, right? The induction or the breathing in of oxygen, right? And then the expansion out, carbon dioxide. Cool down, baby. Cool colors. Right. So I had some symptoms with my teeth. I had a little bit of a headache. Normally what works in the morning is I take an ion fizz with all kinds of good stuff in it, from boron to magnesium and phosphorus, all the good stuff. There's a pretty good product that I've used for the sake of simplicity, and now we're getting into a video I was going to do in a little bit after I finish my this is my cocktail. This is what I call my morning cocktail. See how green it is? That's about a tablespoon of spirulina, along with kratom from Borneo. And it's in a smoothie, and the smoothie that I make has got electrolytes, coconut juice in there, aloe vera juice is in here. What else I got in here, Mama? Pure cranberry juice, cold pressed stuff, cold pressed apple juice, green bananas. What else I got in here? Let's see, cranberry juice, tart cherry juice, cold pressed, not from concentrate. So naturally these folks unnaturally charge you. So now we're back into charging. Now we're back into charge, no charge, right? Zero. Running on no memory, memory-driven program apps, API, application program interface with QI, the corporate stuff. And I was going to cover sacrifices, the difference between their sacrifices and our sacrifices, and the difference between the two, and how that relates to electrical density consciousness, to experience no mass, pure consciousness, eternal fire, right? God consciousness. Purest of light, it's on fire, which means no entropy, no loss. You're not experiencing anything eating on your energy. You just burn it up automatically, so you're not even aware of it. You're not even aware of anything that is doing you any harm or seeks to do you any harm. Are you kidding? You're experiencing eternal God consciousness energy. You're experiencing through your heart and your soul, which is the purity of your heart, which is the center point of your heart, which is the center point of the vortex, right? Going vertical and horizontal, right? Which means everything that's going up and down on a vertical plane, a vertical line, with the exact center point of a cross, which is the horizontal line with the space vectors. Man, those 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-way intersection. Wow, that's the purest light there is. It's running through that cross. Yep, which means all ways. Remember, signing the letters in all ways, all 4 ways. Tetrahedron, right? Blast furnace. Yep, return to fire, baby. And so anyway, this is what I start off with, voltage, high voltage, right? And that allows you to get rid of waste product, metabolites, metabolism at a higher rate of speed of what we're exposed to, right? Yeah. Spin that light, baby. The axial rotation, it's going to spin cycle on a dryer or a washing machine. Yeah. Spin those circles, man. Spin those spheres. Tiny bubbles. So anyway, it's another beautiful morning out here. I'll probably head out on this rock and do that again. And a lot of times what helps is I'll go and plant my bare feet on the soil, right? Particularly on this rock, on the Big Island. And then put both my hands on the tree. Hey, how you doing this morning? I love you too. And look directly up at the sun and communicate through my heart and my soul. Let's do some breathing, baby. Right? And then I'll just simply go with the flow, go with the flow, go with the flow. Let it all flow through my heart and soul, through every magnet, through every cell, every neuron, every living cellular organism. The entire universe is experiencing eternal fire, which is eternal firelight, which is eternal unconditional light, love that's being generated out of my monopole throughout everything else that is. So that this universe template is experiencing what love is from which it all began. Right? All the networks. Pushing it through all the networks. Lines of communication. Right? DNA language. The language of math. The language of crystals. Yeah. Christ. Crystal. Christ. With a K. As in light or potassium. So yeah, so how y'all doing this morning? Are you experiencing more energy? As above, so below. Have a great day. I love you all. Be good eaters. You too, Mama. You too, Mama. I know. I got a strong vibration on my left side. Communication. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah, okay. I'll cover that about part of my mission before here was I've been a training instructor. When I was growing up as a child, and this is the beauty of how the universe works of higher creative intelligence. When you realize the speed at which you're learning, because you're connected to eternal unconditional love. In other words, you're learning through God by experiencing God within your own heart and soul. So you're going to learn at a very high rate of speed what it is that you need to learn in order to do what it is God does. In this case, healing, right? And if you will, return to source. So that we're all experiencing what love is that goes on forever. Gifting electrons, gifting energy, self-generating power stations, right? What do you want to create next? What do you want to experience next? Being free to do that. which means your energy is not being held captive by artificial intelligence. A deadlight magnet, it's finite, right? Okay, so the idea is that as an heir, when we created the first template, then free will is actually very simple because it's built in because of the genius in the way that it's built in, which is so simple, it's ridiculous, actually, when you think that the pathway of least effort, which means the energy that is always there, which is the hottest creative engine, when it's on default, or what we call natural fire, then it naturally is seeking the pathway of least electrical intensity to spread more love everywhere we go. And the more that we do that, the more the intense the fire becomes, the more creative we realize that we become because we experience that. And that's the truth of it. That's my truth because that's how I experience it that I share with all the others. Right? So I know what works by virtue of the experience, which is the teacher in the mirror. Or if you will, what you experience in your core identity, just like the core in this planet, right? The center point of the cross. You know, remember the cross, depth perception, hyperspace. Then you're into hypertext, the text. Now you're into the alphanumerical formatting. Now you're into counterspace. Now you're into counterspace moves. Now we're back to sacrifices. Who sacrifices for who? Then you can get into all the dates, which are numbers, letters. Letters are numbers, and numbers are energy, right? Now you can get into linear sequences. Now you're into blockchain. Sacrificing on behalf of artificial intelligence in order for it to maintain what it's aware of in energy, because it doesn't have a soul. Okay? That's all your alien machinery. Alien intelligence, AI. Alien intelligence. It's alien to God. That means knowing one from the other. Right? So you know that an alien intelligence, it's running on finite light. Just ask yourself, if you're a child, who you'd rather learn through. Would you rather learn through eternity or something that's finite? You know, something that doesn't last very long, there must be some reason it doesn't last very long. How come it doesn't last very long? Because you can't destroy energy, right? So that means that the energy is always there. So consciousness is always there. Okay, so if the universe of consciousness is created a universe for itself to live in, and it realizes, hey, I'm an eternal being, my consciousness is eternal. So that's got to be a lot of fire, right? Yeah, okay, so who would you rather learn through? If you were a spirit with a soul, who would you rather learn through? I don't know about you, but I certainly know I would rather learn through an eternal God consciousness, because now I'm experiencing eternal unconditional love that I'm experiencing through it, through that soul and spirit, that oversoul and spirit. I'm experiencing being in the presence of a teacher. Wow. You're an eternal being. That's a lot of fire. Wow, I'm experiencing through a living star the power of that spirit. Yeah. So there isn't anything fake about it. No. No, the real stuff. Real creative engine energy that loves you, lives in truth, lives in honor, compassion, empathy, right? That means that energy's not trying to game you. No, we're gifting energy so you can experience more of what we are that loves you. Okay. Now you're free. Jack it up, you know, jack the wheels up, right? The donut, spin that donut, right? Spin that donut, just like spinning the actual spin rotation of the planet, right? Hit the pause button, change the spin. No more counter moves. See, there is only one law. The law of physics, which is the law of math, which is the law of music, which is the law of spirit, which is the law of cosmic level spirit that built the first universal and galactic template. A template, just like an architect. See? So now we're into key codes. Now we're into access codes, which is the math, which is the music. It's called tapping in. Tapping in. Tap, tap, tap. Tap on the door. Doors of perception. Doors of perception. Vibration. Right? Beauty in the eye of the beholder. Beholding. Right? So I'm going to finish my cocktail. The tail, the rooster tails. By the way, Bill Donahue has a channel, and I believe he's got a website that's still up. I haven't checked it recently, called Hidden Meanings. He did a short video on Revelation numerology to show you how the numbers, right? Numbers and energy are related to the chakras, the sacrum, the nerve centers, and of course, you know, an AI is going to target because I can go in depth on this subject, particularly when you get into neurons, ion messengers, chemical messengers, right, between the glands. But this AI targets your endocrine system so that your waves are distorted to burn the filament out, burn the bulb out, burn the positive current out, right? Which would be pure energy. So that's the sucking sound. Suck all that energy. Suck all that pure energy, right? Because it realizes without our energy, without soul arcing energy, okay, that it's running on finite light, which is dead light, which is a dead magnet, right? And that's all your QI, AI, corporate stuff, interplanetary pirates, Oreo cookies, and all the other folks in all the other galaxies that aren't experiencing one law within them, right? So those that know this is a cosmic level cleansing, return to fire, which means there's no loss. Now we're back into gain of function. You know, gain of function to implode, gain of function to expand the universe that is experiencing more what love is, which is what the law is, right? Yeah. So that's called natural, right, versus unnatural, or a perversion of nature, right? And that's why integration with the super soldiers and stuff is a perversion of nature. That is not what we call the natural baseline of learning. Okay. So they have an integrated relationship with a deadlight magnet. So a deadlight magnet is finite, rather than having a relationship in learning speed acceleration with their magnet to experience God consciousness. Now their shield is up. So they use the integration of artificial intelligence through the hierarchy of a deadlight magnet they're held captive to in order to suck more energy out of living soul stars. And that's a crime against the one, the first template. And that's why all the history of gates being broken, galactic wars, intergalactic wars, and the amount of damage that's been done as a result therein made it, how would I put this, natural for guardians of the original template, which is the key codes and the access codes upon which we become aware of through those codes, having God consciousness awareness of what we thus experience at the time that we experience it, to know what's being done, because we're the ones that are getting it done. So there are some fancy techniques, or if you will, methods by which, if you're interested, I might do a video on it, on how I've trained others on how to checkmate artificial intelligence or finite, or these interplanetary corporate types, Blade Runners, right? Hobbs and Shaw, Shadow Beings, right? Because in some ways, I began to realize that I cover a lot of debts, okay? But when I become aware of things here, because it becomes aware of what I become aware of, because it's scanning through the biometric field, what it does becomes aware of. And now you get into the sacrifice side of things, of why, for example, what happened in Ohio, right? All the fear-based propaganda that's coming through the system by virtue of your consciousness being connected to what you thus become aware of through others. And then you can measure on a scale, a biometric scale across the planet, the experience that we have between the two magnets on counterspace moves. Because an AI wargamer has to win the counterspace move in order to get our energy that it feeds on, in order for it to maintain what it's aware of, to maintain the architecture of AI integration with quantum inorganic parallelogram computers, quantum. Right? Which is finite light. So that's limited. That's limited. That's limited bandwidth. Okay? So I don't play the game with the unlimited, then you're into U, and then the N equals zero, magnetic zero, law of least effort to distribute eternal love throughout all the lines of communication that exist within a universal template, in the language of DNA, which is the language of math, which is the language of spirit, which is the language of music, which we're experiencing peace, love, harmony, and balance throughout all creation. That's how it was set up. That's how it was originally intended. The intention of the energy, which is the intention of God consciousness, the source from which it all began, was for everything in creation to be able to experience the one law, the law of one, was the center point of balance in every sphere, every magnet. So there's no collisions, no broken arrows. So that we all get to experience the purity of what love is on the one, which is real living light. Pure consciousness, pure soul, arcing star consciousness. Yeah.